With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at meistercon.com or on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. Look who I have with me today. Legendary actor Kevin Sorbo. So welcome, Kevin.
Good to be here. Why am I not back there? You should have Hercules back there or Andromeda. Come on.
I'm very disappointed in myself that I don't have you in the background. Apparently, I didn't catch you with your mouth open for you to have been on there.
That's what you got to do.
You know, it's supposed to be your yelling con.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's too funny.
Well, sir, thank you so much for being on the program. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but I've been a fan of you for quite a while. Seems like the 90s was just yesterday.
It's scary to think that I shot Hercules. We started filming 30 years ago this year. So we shot from 1993 to 2000 down in beautiful New Zealand. And wow. I hate to admit that it's been that long as well, because I miss that. I miss that younger guy. That's the way it goes.
I know that feeling. Are there any plans for you having an anniversary celebration at some point this year?
I doubt it. I don't think so. I mean, you know, it was a big show. I mean, we passed Baywatch by season 3 as the most watched show in the world, 176 countries. Wow. And you know, I think once you're out of that Hollywood world, like I left years ago. I love doing movies, but I'm doing pretty much independently on my own now. So
yeah,
you know, they've had I think 3 or 4 different studio changes since I was there. So there's nobody left in the executive branches there that's even part of the series anymore.
Yeah, well, 30 years is a long time.
Yeah, I know. I know. I think of that. Yeah. I think of people born that year I started filming. They're the age now that I was in my 30s when I shot the Hercules through my 7 years in my 30s. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I know my oldest, my daughter, my wife at that time was pregnant with her when Hercules came out.
Really?
So yeah. Got it. That's I can tell when stuff came out through the 90s based on the age of the kids at that time.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I loved you in Hercules, of course. I was a big Andromeda fan.
I am too. I mean, to get the call from Majel Roddenberry when I was on the end of season 7 on Hercules, saying my husband wrote this show in 1969 after Star Trek was canceled, and you would be the first captain ever after Captain Kirk. And I was like, stop. I don't even care what it's called. I'm in, because I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I've probably seen every episode 50 times growing up, the reruns and everything. So this was quite an honor to play Captain Dylan Hunt. Thank you very much. And it had a blast, you know, and I'm friends with Bill Shatner now after all these years as well, which is just really weird since I was like a 7-year-old watching reruns. So it's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's when that show came out, I remember at that time I owned a couple of comic book stores, and everyone was so excited because it was something new,
yeah,
you know, from the mind of Gene Roddenberry that we didn't know about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the show lives up.
I got to sit in his chair. Majel kept his office exactly the way it was when he passed away. So I got to sit in the chair with the typewriter still right there with a piece of paper typed on it and stuff, and different sort of morphing models of the Enterprise before it got to where it was, you know, ultimately was. So pretty cool. And I you know, meeting Shatner and meeting Picard, I said, you realize that my show is thousands of years into the future beyond yours. So not only can my ship kick your ship's ass, I'm a foot taller than both you guys, and I'm Hercules. I could kick both your asses. So they laughed, but you know, it was pretty funny.
We've got Mr. Shatner coming to town next week. I'm getting vetted to see if I can moderate for him for his they're watching Wrath of Khan, and then he's taking questions from the
What
audience.
is it a Comic-Con?
No, it's he's just coming to our local civic center and having a viewing Wrath of Khan, and then
Wow.
there'll be a Q&A afterwards, and I think I'll be leading the Q&A. So
very cool.
I'm nervous, but it's
say Kevin Sorbo says hello. Say that to him.
Yeah, I absolutely will.
Dude, he got to go into space.
Isn't that amazing?
I mean, that is so cool. It's pretty cool.
I mean, well, not just going to space. He's like the oldest person ever.
I know. He's got to be like 86 right now or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
unbelievable.
The energy he's got is just incredible.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So
the original crew, it's just a couple guys left, right? Everybody's passed away.
Yeah, I think we've got Walter and George are still around, but that's about it.
That's about it. The other day somebody pointed out, because I grew up watching Gilligan's Island too, and the only one left is Tina Louise.
Yeah.
She's
I hated it when Dawn passed. That was
yeah, because I did a couple Comic-Cons with her. I met Tina a couple of times years ago, like before the Hercules years even. I met Alan Hale, the skipper.
Yeah.
And Dawn.
Well, Bob Denver was he was West Virginian.
Bob Denver, the high school he went to was my wife's mom's high school, and they dated in high school.
Really?
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Anyway, let's talk about my stuff. I'm done talking about that.
Yeah.
We got a movie that's out right now. We got to talk about my movie.
Yeah, we had Charles on last week. He was absolutely terrific and a great casting choice, I think, for the preacher. I love that. So the movie's Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist.
Yep.
So tell us about your role in that.
Well, I play Rayford Steele. Left Behind book sold 80 million copies.
Yeah.
And I'm they did about 3 or 4 different movies with Kirk Cameron back around 2000 or something.
Yeah.
Their most recent one is actually already 8 years ago. They shot it with Nicolas Cage playing the role I did. Well, I took over that role because my movie God's Not Dead came out the same time that movie came out. Yeah. And my little $2 million movie went on to make $140 million. And
wow.
Cloud 10 out of Toronto got smashed with all those emails saying, why is not Kevin Sorbo in that role? Why Nicolas Cage? So they came to me and did a total rewrite on it. They brought it into today's world, the craziness of our insane world right now. And I think one of my favorite lines in there was delivered by Greg Perot, who plays Buck, the reporter. And he's just finished debating this woman who says, that the vanishings, there's another one coming because we know these things because of the computer and stuff. And he says, well, don't rush to get any vanishing vaccines soon. The audience went nuts. They loved it. Kind of slamming what government does with fear. And you better get vaxxed. You better get the jab. You better do all this stuff. So I loved it. And the audience reacted to it. And it did very well. We actually were on 1,500 screens and we got picked up for 2 more weeks now. It did 91% capacity filled and 97% Rotten Tomatoes, which is awesome.
Have you read the books?
I read them back in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. My grandfather was a Baptist minister, and
okay.
Him and my grandmother recommended those to all of the grandkids. And yeah, I read those and just really well written books. Never mind that they can kind of scare the crap out of you, but they're very
Can I tell you that Tim LaHaye passed away? He's one of the co-authors, but Jerry Jenkins is still here. He saw the movie before it came out. We sent him a thing. He came back to us and said, it is easily the best Left Behind movie ever made, and it's perfect for what the world is going through right now. So we couldn't have had a better endorsement. And my first really sort of faith-based movie, you could say. Every movie's faith-based. I mean, if you're an atheist, that's a pretty strong faith to believe in nothing. So everything's a faith movie. Was back in 2010 called What If. Now, What If is, in my book, is a much better movie than God's Not Dead. Same writers, but Dallas Jenkins, who's doing The Chosen now, actually directed that movie. His father, Jerry Jenkins, funded it. And here, all this time later, now 12 years later, I'm doing Jerry Jenkins' book. So this is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's pretty terrific. Did you direct as well?
I directed it as well. Yep, and they're writing the sequel to this sequel now, and I'll be directing and starring in that one as well. And we had a great cast. You know, Neil McDonough was in it, Corbin Burnson was in it, Greg Perot, Sarah Fisher, the Bailey Chase. I mean, we had a really good cast in this thing.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And I know Charles was super excited about being in the movie, and he's narrating too, I think.
He's narrating. I didn't get final edit. I argued about getting final edit, but you know, Cloud 10 has had the rights for 35 years, so
Right.
they got finals saying it, and they wanted to add the narration. I got it initially. I was like, no, I don't want narration. But then when we did it, and I worked with Charles on it as well, it helped explain some things, and it helped sort of move things along too. So there might have, you know, I think fans' reaction is they think it's a little too much narration, but they're only saying maybe 10%, which is great. I mean, the only really two big complaints we got with fans is that the movie ended a little bit abruptly, but they wanted to get to me talking along with Governor Huckabee about the, you know, the whole idea behind, hey, this is you know, we want not just Christians to support this movie, we want everybody to support it, because there's something in there. And you mentioned earlier how the book scared you. As a 12-year-old kid, when I read the Book of Revelation, I read like a crazy sci-fi movie. Yeah. I mean, it was like, this is wacky, man. So it's interesting. When I saw the movie last Friday, I was in LA filming another movie, and I went in with 2 of the actors and 2 of the producers. And to see the people's responses was really good, because everything reaction they had was exactly what we wanted at those certain parts of the movie.
Yeah, that's terrific. Is Kevin the director hard on Kevin the actor?
I'm always my own worst critic. There's no question about that. But you know, I think I started directing back in the Hercules years. I directed another movie called Let There Be Light. Haven't seen it. I highly recommend Let There Be Light. I got another one coming out later this year called Miracle in East Texas, true story set in 1930. So I got another one I'm directing later this year. So I'm staying busy with that, but I still like acting more than anything else.
Yeah. I saw you had several projects coming out, and that was going to be my question: is where do you find the time to fit all of that?
I shot, well, the Reagan movie I got coming out, Dennis Quaid. I plays pastor in it. Then Miracle in East Texas, and then Left Behind were all shot in 2021, the last half of 2021. Yeah. Last year, I shot 5 more movies that are in post-production right now. And then this year, I've already shot 1. I've got 3 in a row coming out March and April. And then I've got 2 more after that later in the year, shooting 1 in Thailand. The other one's going to be in Slovakia, Bratislava, Slovakia.
Oh, wow. Where do you get, you know, where do you find your projects? Are they always brought to you?
They're brought to me. I'm independent now. I've been doing, like, you know, I got an agent kind of, you know, they get stuff now and then, but for the most part, I'm doing 90% of stuff on my own. I've shot about 90 movies now. I've probably about 60 since 2012 on my own. People come to me. I get a lot of independent people saying, hey, as long as they're funded, I'm willing to look at it, because too many people aren't funded. I have a hard enough time raising money for the scripts I want to do, but I'm able, you know, we do about 1 a year of the stable of scripts that I want, but there's always people coming in and booking me for their movies. If I like the picture, I like the role, I'm going to jump on board, because I like to stay busy, and I want to make sure we're putting messages out there that are more positive than what Hollywood's putting out there.
Yeah. When will you start shooting the sequel?
I would guess that they're just coming up with ideas for the script now. I would think probably at the end of the year.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, well, I think they could write this thing in within 6 months. I know that. So we probably start shooting. If we got to go back to Canada, I want to be up there by September. I don't want to be up there. We got lucky with this movie, because if you watch the movie, you can see at the very end there's snow on the ground. That was actually the last day of filming. That was the last day of filming, with the car chase scene at the end. And we started late October, all of November into early December. And we got lucky up in Canada, because we had 50 degrees. We had 50 degrees in November, but then it dropped to 8 degrees and we got snow in the last. So that's what they normally get. So we got lucky, because I did not want snow for this movie. So it just shows up at the very end. So I hope it doesn't throw too many people off, but for the most part, it was cold enough, and you could see the leaves are off the trees. So, you know, it's watching it. If you're from the North, you know, it's like November-ish anyway.
Yeah. So this movie, these books, they've got a built-in audience.
Oh, yeah.
so which is very helpful. But what can you tell people that haven't read the books or maybe aren't as into the religious side of it? Why should they go see the movie?
Well, for a number of reasons. I think, for starters, I wish the 80 million people that bought those books knows about the movie, because I don't think many of them do. We don't have an advertising budget like James Cameron does. I mean, seriously, without exaggerating, they spend like $100 million promoting movies like that. Those are $300 million movies. So you see the Avatar trailer in every football game and every sporting event, every soap opera. So they just get it out there and beat people over the head with it. We got to rely on word of mouth. So we're hoping people find out about it. But this movie is really an action thriller. It's not like in your face, you better believe in God type of thing. The God message is in there. There's no question. But it's not out there judging people and saying you better believe. But the message is strong. It's saying, you know what, guys, there's signs out there, though. I mean, you can look at the Bible and poo-poo it and say it's mythological, but there's constantly, every year there seems to be something that's proved the Bible correct and Bible true. I think there's a great documentary out there called The Case for Christ. I highly recommend to people just to look at it, just to hear what they have. Steve Strobel has to say. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, that's pretty terrific. I know we gotta wrap, but when you first kind of walked away from Hollywood and said, I'm going to do my own stuff, was it a relief, or was it trepidation? What was that like?
It was a no choice. My manager and agent said, we can't work with you anymore. And because I was posting stuff on Facebook and everything, and I wasn't posting the hate stuff that comes at me through Twitter, which I just get a kick out of these guys, because these people obviously hate themselves. But it was me just saying, hey, what about talking about this or that? Well, Hollywood, my manager and agent, after years of being with them, said, yeah, we can't do that anymore. The studio's like, no, we don't work with them because of this. And I'm going, wow. So I feel like I'm the very first person that had the wrath of the cancel culture. And I found it funny because Hollywood screams for tolerance all the time, but they're hypocrites, because tolerance to them is a one-way street. It's do as I say, not as I do. And that's their mentality, so you got to follow what they do. So I looked at it as, wait, okay, that door's closed, but this door's opening up. And I formed SorboStudios.com along with my wife, and we're doing our own stuff. And I haven't stopped working. I'm actually working more now than I was back then. Yeah, maybe not going to get up for the big budget movies anymore to audition for them, but you know what? That's fine. I want to put messages out there that are a little more family friendly than what the agenda Hollywood is trying to throw down our throats.
Yeah. It seems to have worked out very well.
Yeah, staying busy.
Yeah. So, but before we wrap, you did a role in Bernie the Dolphin. And we had a couple of the ladies that were in that, Lily Cardone and Tommy Rose, both were on the show, and both of them speak very highly of the work you did on the movie.
That's
so just
nice.
Yeah, just the chance to watch you a little bit, work with you, they learned quite a bit. So they both brought that up during their interviews when we talked about the movie. So I wanted to pass that.
Well, we did 2 of those movies. We had Bernie 1 and Bernie 2, and I'll tell you, there's not many G-rated movies in today's world. So these are movies that families can watch. It's certainly geared to kids under 10, 11 years old, but it's a fun movie, and it's got a great message in there. And I got to play kind of a doofus guy that's a bad guy, but he's a stupid bad guy, and it was fun. We shot him in Florida, which was great. I live here now, so it was fun. But people need to go to the movie. It's leftbehindmovie.com. Leftbehindmovie.com. The trailer's there. Information on all the actors, where to see it, what theaters near you, and also go to SorboStudios.com. SorboStudios.com. Sign up. We'll keep you up to date for everything coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, terrific. Well, thank you so much, sir. This has been a real honor to talk to you. Big fan. Loved the stuff you did back in the 90s, and really enjoying the stuff you're doing now.
Well, Michael, let's talk in September when the Reagan movie comes out and Miracle in East Texas comes out.
Yeah, that sounds terrific. Well,
awesome.
Best of luck, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll talk with you in September.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, how fun was that? Kevin Sorbo, very difficult to get a few minutes with him. So I'm very grateful that he was able to spare that. Just from the interview, you can tell he is extremely busy, which I think is kind of interesting. You know, kind of left Hollywood's doing work on his own, and obviously not having any trouble finding work. He's such a talented actor. So I hope you enjoyed that. You know, my philosophy on this show is to give everybody a voice, but not to give too much of my opinion on the matter. You know, I look at myself more as a conduit, a conversationalist, and just try to bring people on that are interesting, good people that that can, you know, if they want to express their views, they're more than welcome to do that. So I hope you guys appreciate that like I do. There was a few of them that I definitely wanted to check in with him on, but we just didn't have the time. He's got one coming out called Dragon Man: The Adventures of Luke Starr, which I believe is an animated production. But he's doing that one with Misha Barton, who he worked with on the OC when he played Frank Atwood. So I'm kind of curious about that one. And then really enjoyed his turn as Call the Conqueror. You know, Call was a Marvel property and kind of a Conan-like figure. So I thought he did a really good job with that. That was a comic book that I really enjoyed, and he did that one, I think, in the late 90s. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us this week. If this is your first time joining us, you can help us out if you'd like to support us. There's a couple of ways. If you're watching YouTube MeisterCon Pod, really appreciate if you could subscribe. That would really help us out. Just hit that subscribe button. You know, we're trying to grow an audience, to put out quality content. We could really use that help. If you're listening, wherever you're listening to your podcast at, whatever platform you're using, just go ahead and subscribe there. That helps us as well. We put out episode 520 today, and if you listen to podcasts, that's a lot. Not too many podcasts are lucky enough to get to that many episodes. It took us 4 years to get there, but we're on 520 and counting with that. So plenty of content for you. I would put our guest list up against any other show out there. I think we have the best guests. Hope you agree. So please check us out. You can find all 520 of those episodes, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. If we have anything going on, like if we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, you know, if we're helping out William Shatner, whatever we got going on, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.